Yeah. Let me drop exclusive game from my exclusive mind. You be out here chasing fame, I stay steady on my grind. Zero diamonds, zero chains.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Exclusive Minds podcast.
Exclusive minds, exclusive talks with exclusive minds.
There we go. And this is episode number 7. I seem to always get the episode numbers wrong. I think last time I said 5 and it was 6. And then, so I'm pretty sure this one's actually 7. And interestingly enough, I was reading that episode 7 is usually where podcasters start to experience fade. So this is kind of the make or break episode. If we can get past this one, then I think we become almost a legit podcast.
Yeah, I think we need to throw some controversy in the title here to get something going here.
Yep. So let's start off by giving the quick Exclusive Minds clothing brand update behind the scenes.
Let's do it.
Let's do that first, and then we'll do the podcast behind the scenes update, and then get into it. So, on the clothing line, we just we're getting ready to send off the orders that came in for the winter hoodies. So, if you are on that list that have purchased, rest assured that we have the inventory in hand, and it's going to the printer tomorrow. So, we are expecting that. That'll get done over the next couple of days, and we should start to see shipping notifications maybe this weekend, if not very, very early next week. So everyone be on the lookout. Early next week, you should start to see your hoodies.
Absolutely. I mean, I really like this design, and, we still have the breast cancer ones up there as well, too. I saw we got an order the other day.
Couple, not many of those.
So definitely check out the website and place some orders. Really, really sick design, and everyone's killing it with the pre-sale. Yeah.
So that's going. And thanks to everyone who ordered and keeping it alive. The other thing I thought was kind of interesting, I was sort of thinking about this when I was on the airplane coming home today, was, we talked about social media and how it's kind of different between your generation and mine. And I thought that, I was thinking about it and I was like, we actually have sort of a living lab going on right now with that whole social media thing, because I pretty much do all of the Facebook updates.
Yeah.
And you do pretty much all of the Instagram updates. In fact, I don't even have the password for the Instagram account for Exclusive Minds. And I thought it was kind of interesting because I know every time you do something, it's, it's flashy, very colorful. There's a lot of overlays with text, and it's so much different than what I do.
I think that might be because, like, our generation, they have a short attention span, so they need to see some flash. There needs to be some juice behind the post.
I didn't even, and I never, I think Facebook has the story thing too, or it kind of is like, I don't even know what the story thing is, but I know you use the story thing on Instagram all the time. And I was like, wow, it is just really amazing how like different your advertising or your promotion stuff is versus kind of what I do on Facebook, which I think is just very, very traditional and I guess somewhat, plain vanilla.
I think it's good though. I mean, we both kind of have like a niche with that though. Like your niche would be Facebook and mine's like Instagram and Snapchat. I saw you were in the Instagram live too the other day.
Yeah. It came up on my phone, so I was like, "Let me just drop in and check it out," which was kind of cool. We should maybe even do that at some point for the podcast as we're recording it. Maybe just drop on the Instagram live once we sort of get the video thing figured out.
The more I'm getting into this NFT Web3 world, the crypto world, it's a lot of these communities of like tech savvy people. So you'll see everyone's doing Instagram live. They're doing, I don't even know if you're on Twitter, but they have like Twitter live, which is just voice. You don't have video, it's just voice. And then like Discord's a big thing too, so it's like so I don't know, the more I'm getting like digging myself in this hole, I'm starting to see everyone kind of likes being like interactive and likes being a part of something. It's just like really cool. I mean, it doesn't take any less time than me and you having a conversation now. Like the only dynamic's just you could invite people to comment or whatever. So that might definitely be something we should consider.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was just kind of a thought. And then we're starting to get off track all of a sudden. But yeah, I mean, we've had that conversation, and that was one of the things the podcast was around was kind of generational differences. And so, I mean, our social media account, I think, is a living library or lab that showcases exactly how the generations differ, right? I'm doing Facebook and Dave's doing Instagram. So you'll see, I think, differences, and we'll kind of maybe we'll just keep track of that and see how it goes. I know that you've got on Instagram we have a ton of followers, and on Facebook we have literally none.
Yeah, maybe we need to do some crossover there. Because Instagram share, because Facebook owns Instagram, so like the sharing, it's dual shared. It's just, I guess, just
because when you post on Instagram, it actually comes up on Facebook.
Right, absolutely.
But when I post on Facebook, it won't go to Instagram.
I never understood that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just a setting we have to tweak or what. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, we definitely could use some support on the Facebook likes. So if you're out there, even if you don't get on Facebook, just like us anyway. It'll make me feel better. I feel kind of inferior. So because our Facebook numbers are way down, and again, I'm not surprised because you guys are all about Instagram, right? So
yeah, and their Instagram just came out with a thing. This is going off track. We're all over the place here.
Well,
I swear.
we're not. This is part of the behind the scenes, right? It's all marketing.
We'll tie it back together. But Instagram's going back to their old algorithm opposed to their new current algorithm. So the new algorithm, it is kind of like TikTok's method, where it shows you what they want to show you type versus the chronological order of posts that hour. So if I were to post now and I haven't posted a while, this is what kind of we talked about in the last episode. You're not going to see my post just because I don't post a lot on like my regular.
Oh, so
story.
You have to like.
You have to be active with it.
Okay, which actually can be annoying.
That's
right?
super annoying. It's not only annoying for numerous reasons, like, oh man, how many times am I going to see the same person's stuff? You know what I mean? So they're going to actually revert to that, and it kind of makes you think, like, is there a deeper meaning as to why they're going back after so many years of this, like, I guess living in this this TikTok social media, I don't know, world, I guess you could call it now. So it's kind of interesting to think about. Why do you think they're going back? It's just
I don't know. I mean, I guess they just want to force activity, man, make you get locked into having to be on the platform 24/7, even as a creator. Who knows?
Yeah, dude, it's kind of weird. It's definitely strange. So anyway,
so I mean, keep an eye on that if you're really kind of interested in sort of how the world works differently. And we'll keep tabs and we'll update on that as well. So, but yeah, give us some love on social media, either on IG or on FB, right? So,
and it's free. I mean, you don't have to pay anything. You just have to click a button.
Yeah, thanks. So behind the scenes on the podcast, we are still talking about trying to pull video into this. That was sometime in January, or we talked about doing it in January, and I think we still have to kind of figure that all out. We're also... We just kind of talked offline, but I guess we're still on track to maybe try and do the live podcast of the fight, which is now not a Tommy Fury fight. It's some other guy. I don't even...
Tyron Woodley.
There you go.
So they fought once before.
Yeah, no, I know.
Okay. It was actually a good fight. And, there's definitely still some beef there between the two of them. So I think it'll be entertaining.
Not Tommy Fury beef. I'm sorry. That guy, those two. So I know that I know Mikey, our resident boxing analyst, who will be on. I think that on
a fabulous
he thinks this is going to be a much better fight, and I was like, no, I disagree with him, and we can get into this, I guess, as part of the pre-fight talk. But those two guys they truly hated each other, right? You could fake
both of them.
You could fake it and kind of ramp it up, but I really honestly think those two guys, like, deep down, like, hate each other. And that whole Tommy Fury family thing, where his family was just telling him that he would be disowned if he lost. Yeah. I mean, that kind of angst and just build up is pretty intense. That I could see that really being a fight. A true fight.
I wonder what's going on behind the scenes now, because if you remember, Tyson, didn't he put out something like, he's like, Tommy's gonna fight even if he has a broken arm or something that.
There's all kinds of stuff.
I guess he's just doing it to sell the fight. But I wonder what's going on behind the scenes now. And I don't know, Tyron, this fight's going to be entertaining, but I see what you're saying. There's definitely a lot more, I guess, involved with the family matters and all that different type of stuff with that. But I don't know, it should be an entertaining one. I mean, the last one ended in a split decision, and now they're like, oh, we're going to have to get a second one to make sure it's concrete that I'm the winner. And who knows, if Jake Paul loses, we could see a Tyron Jake 3, but so it's like, I don't know.
That's the other thing, because it's like, well, you almost anticipate something like that happening just to kind of keep it going and stuff. But anyway, so we'll do that, and we'll try and just kind of have some fun with live. We'll get a couple folks on to have a conversation. I think that's next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So the 18th.
18th. Yeah, I was gonna say.
So we'll try and make that work. We wanted to try and do it on YouTube Live. We have to figure that out. Worst case, we'll record it and put it up that night or the following morning, depending on how late
it's still going to be entertaining. Like we're gonna have Mikey obviously and Mario. It'll be entertaining. So I mean, regardless, make sure to tap in with us and get on page because we're gonna bring some content that night for sure.
Yeah, it should be fun. I mean, yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I have a feeling that around the holidays, when we get some kind of downtime from our real world occupations, whether it's student or working in the tech industry, I'm going to try and take a look at broadening our availability of the podcast. I mean, obviously right now it's on Apple Podcasts, and then I do the thing on YouTube. But we'll maybe try and get a host together so that we can get on all of the other platforms. And I thought it was just Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and as it turns out, there's a whole bunch of other ones.
Really?
Oh yeah, trying to remember. There were Google has a podcast. There's a couple other ones that I guess people apparently use. So
I mean, that'd be cool to, I guess, grow with one of them. I mean,
because that way, if we have it through a podcast host, right, we publish it to the host, and then the host feeds it out to all of the other platforms. So right now I'm kind of doing the podcast on Apple, and then I have to redo it, reformat it for YouTube, and I think I still have to do the YouTube one because that's kind of separate. But at least the other ones will all get fed out. So we'll look at that. So again, if you're listening to this and aggravated that you can't get it on Spotify or something else, hopefully we'll get that there soon. And then that'll actually bring into the equation the possibility of doing things like advertising and stuff like that. Look, I'm a consumer as well, and I don't like the idea of of advertising. So I think we'll have to kind of figure out how we want to sort of tackle
maneuver
that.
away, yeah. We'll have to figure it out.
We don't have the audience for that yet at this point anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But
it'll come soon.
I think I'd prefer to do advertising where we almost kind of do product reviews kind of built into the podcast as part of it versus kind of, a 1 minute intermission that kind of goes through things, but we'll talk about that anyway. That's
speaking of product. No.
Well, yeah, we can talk about that in a sec. But yeah, so I mean, that's kind of getting into the weeds, and
yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to be on multiple platforms. So, I mean, we're gonna try to be on everything at the end of the day, right? It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? I completely forgot. Did you want to talk about this, or you want to wait a little bit down the road for that?
Well, so I mean, that's the update. So I mean, I think at this point we're kind of into the meat. Why don't we do our crypto updates? That's now become kind of a staple of the podcast over the last couple months. So for those that may not have caught the earlier episode, right, we had Marcus Carter on for a discussion around crypto and NFTs. And at the end of that, we talked about Dave and I kind of each picking a crypto, putting some money into it, and then just tracking how it progresses. We figured that's the easiest way to kind of remain active in following crypto and talking about, pros and cons and just what's kind of going on. So I think I picked one, and I think you picked one, right?
Yeah,
so,
I actually picked one, and I bought it just because it was at such a good price. I was like, all right, well, I should just do it anyway.
He's an eager beaver, so he had to jump in.
So I bought something called EOS. I'm not a financial advisor, neither is Joe, but I bought EOS. I bought it for $100.
EOS?
EOS, yep.
Okay.
I bought it for $100. The other day, it was at $299. So that's when I bought in. Yesterday, it was at $3.72.
Wow. Okay.
So it went up 72 cents, which
30%.
About 30%, yeah. And now it went down. It's at $3.30, but it's still up, a good amount. I got 30 cents, and my total is $106 in
nice.
the account.
Well, that's
$6.
It covers your gasoline fee. And I'm starting to throw these terms out now that I've learned from their last one. And with gasoline charge, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Or?
And with the gas fee, I ended up, so that $100 ended up turning into $97. So
there you go.
I'm up. Yeah, a good amount, like almost $10.
We're gonna make it up on volume. So so a couple things before I announce my pick. So obviously we talked about Noah or me buying my son Bitcoin. And
You did some investigations?
well, no. So, I mean, I think when we were talking about it, when I actually did it right, Bitcoin was pretty much at its peak. It was like $67,000 a coin.
Yeah, I forgot.
Literally, that was like 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
His birthday was on the 9th. So, was it a month ago? And in that month, I think that Bitcoin has plunged like
Noah crashed the market.
20-something%. So, I'm like, okay, look, I lost $20. It's not a big deal. But I'm like, man, I don't know. This crypto thing is just crazy. I don't know if I want to invest in this thing. Even $100, right? The swings are just ridiculous. And I guess that's the thing, right? If the swings are in the right direction, it's a win-win. But anyway, so I am going to...
What's your coin?
I'm going to pick MANA.
MANA, which is Decentraland.
Right. And the reason I picked that is only because, obviously, I think Adidas is committing to that.
Oh, yeah. You sent me that on the confirmed.
So, I mean, it's got some mainstream support, and I think that obviously gives it a little bit more foundation. So MANA is the currency for this Decentraland, which is...
like the forerunner of the...
I haven't really even gotten into it yet. It almost looks like Minecraft, kind of. I think is... I don't know.
Yeah, it's... I mean... Well, basically, all these things is kind of like Minecraft and Roblox and kind of Oculus at the end of the day. But Decentraland, I would say, is at the forefront of that.
Right.
So
right.
You're kind of, I mean, the next one up, it's kind of just picking between Nike and Adidas, like you said. So, going with Decentraland's a fantastic pick. And I think the other day too, they were down in the 3s, and now they might have shot back up.
I haven't looked, but I'll pull the trigger on that tonight just to kind of catch up with you, and then.
Yeah,
we'll start to kind of do an update on that on the podcast just to give everybody. And again, this will keep us in touch with crypto.
The future market.
I'm growing into it. I believe me, I still think the whole thing's a freaking Ponzi scheme. But
speaking of Ponzi schemes, you'll never believe what happened. So Marcus, sorry Marcus, not me and him are good friends. This actually happened. It was hilarious. So he sends me a thing. It's for this thing called NFTC. Okay. He sends it to me. He's like, bro, they're giving out free coins. Plug your wallet in. Get it right now. I'm like, all right, I'll look into it. So while he sent me that, I was actually about to do a presentation, which will segue into another conversation. But I was like, I can't right now. I really can't. He's like, bro, just trust me. No questions asked. Just do it. And I was like, bro, I got him in the middle of a presentation. So I call him afterwards. He's like, do your due diligence, but look into it. Basically what it is another form of OpenSea, which is like the marketplace for the NFTs. I look into it, and everyone on Twitter is like, they keep pushing back the release date, and they're not getting what they're supposed to be getting. So they're supposed to be getting 10 coins when you sign up.
Right.
And they're not giving out the 10 coins. And each coin's supposed to be $200. So if you think about it, they're giving out $2,000 to however many
see
people.
A problem there?
So then I look into it, and I have the screenshots. I was like, man, I don't know if this is legit, whatever, because everyone's saying that they keep pushing the date out. Like the first one was supposed to be on November 28th, then December 1st, and now it's December, what is today, the 9th?
9th.
And it's still not out yet. So
yeah.
So no one's getting their coins, and I was like, oh, well, I got to definitely bring this up to Joe because there's some fishy shit going on.
Just, but this whole thing's a little crazy. That's in fairness, that's the one reason why I kind of picked MANA, because Adidas is very public about what they're doing. So I'm like, okay, if Adidas is doing it, I figure there must be something behind it. I still think that some of the numbers I've seen with some of the stuff you can buy in the Decentraland or off the charts, but we'll see. So I mean,
like, I don't know. My mom always tells me, like, when she's cutting hair, she's a hairdresser or my barber. They're like, don't be the first one there and don't be the last one there because you'll get the worst haircuts. So I'm like, yeah. I guess that kind of applies to this situation. You don't want to be the first one to get burned. I'm
still convinced that that's the whole thing with all of the cryptos is. If you're in early, you win. It could be a scam.
It could be a scam, though.
If you are the last in, you're losing it all. So,
exactly.
We'll see.
There's definitely a sweet spot in the middle that you could just. It's closer to like the front end of that than the last end, but I definitely understand that, man. So
So that's the crypto update.
For sure.
And I guess we'll kind of do that as a regular now thing.
Yeah,
Since
sure.
that seems to be the talk. There's going to be no coffee conversation today, so that's good. All right.
I had too much coffee today, man. I'll explode if I have it, dude.
Yeah, I had nitro cold brew when I got back, so that was good. But all right, so Do we want to talk about my new
Yeah, sure.
Yeezys that I just got
So
today?
Joe, as we walk in, he has, what do you want to call this? Fed the addiction of these Yeezy sneakers.
Yeah.
He has purchased the Yeezy 500s, the ash gray
Yeah.
500s, size 9. So I'll let you do the honors of opening this
Size
up
9.
live. Yep.
Yeah, I literally just got these, and actually, my wife doesn't even know about it. So when she hears this podcast, she's going to come up and yell at me because she knows that these are expensive, and I buy too many of them.
But you got them for a good price. You get them for the retail price, right?
Well, yeah, I don't.
For everything.
I would never pay over MSRP for a pair of shoes. That's insane. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, cars are kind of like that nowadays. That's just nuts.
So he slid the shoes out.
Yeah, I mean it's typical packaging. So I these are nice though. I mean, the reason I wanted to get these. And you can
I never
hear
even seen these yet.
Right.
Oh.
Well, you're wearing a pair.
Well, I have the different pair. I haven't seen this colorway. Okay. So I have the utility black. These came out a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years. So this is a whole new colorway, the newest 500. Very nice. Looks identical almost.
Yeah, so these are. The reason I wanted to get these is because I didn't have a set of the 500s. I think my goal is to basically just have one pair of each of the whatever the numbers are that he's gotten. I think I got it now, right? I've got the slides, I've got the foam runners or the cloud runners, whatever they are. I've got a bunch of the other ones. I think I've got one of everything at this point.
What about those snow boots? Is that for you or
that? No, and I don't think I'm going to get those. Yeah.
Those things look crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole point, I guess, is that they are really up the top. But these are, the thing that drives me crazy about some of the Yeezys is I'm always afraid to wear them. Like I don't want to get them dirty. Like I freak out, and I think that's the reason why the black colorway is always the most popular because people feel they can abuse those a little bit more than the lighter color ones. But these are nice because they're kind of robust looking. They're almost like a rock shoe, I think you called it, or
that's what Taylor calls it. Yeah, my girlfriend every time she's like, "Where are your rock shoes?" I'm like, "Taylor, they're called."
Plus, these look like they'll hold up in the winter much better than the other ones.
They're definitely a good shoe, man. I like them. I mean, some people, there's teach their own, and I really like those a lot. They're one of my top silhouettes, top 3 silhouettes, besides obviously the classic V1 and V2 silhouette.
Yeah.
But they're awesome. I really like it. Did you see that Swarovski or how do you say that? Swarovski?
Swarovski, I think.
Swarovski.
You talking about the crystals?
The crystals. They actually collaborated with Halo. Did you see that?
With Halo?
Yeah, look, check it out.
So he's showing me the website.
And you could donate for a chance to win some sort of Swarovski.
That might be what it's called, actually. Swarovski.
Swarovski?
Yeah, I mean.
But anyway,
the S is probably silent. Who knows?
So everyone's trying to tap into this gaming market now. I never thought I would have seen that. I just opened this up because I wanted to see the.
So what is it? Like a tree ornament kind of thing?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
It's like a crystal, the helmet of the dude, right?
Yeah. Master Chief.
Master Chief. Sorry.
Oh, it's a gamer's outreach. I think it's medical care inside hospitals during the hospitalization. Yeah, I don't know.
So it's for charity.
Yeah, it's a charity type event.
Okay.
And then you might be able to get maybe some sort of in-game skin. Yeah, so you get a Halo and an Energy Sword collectible in Swarovski crystal, which I'm assuming is just like an in-game item.
I mean, collaborations are the rage, man. Everybody's...
Oh, bro.
I mean, there's so much cross-pollination now, and it's always kind of interesting. And we need to actually consider... Well, I should say... here I am. I shouldn't be...
Joe saying that he wants a collaboration. That's very rich.
Yeah.
Very rich.
No, so...
Anonymously, we had a collaboration.
Behind the scenes, we did a collaboration with Exclusive Minds that did not go well.
And we won't say which collaboration it was because we had a couple before.
Well, I mean, you can go on the website and I think you can kind of figure it out. But we had a collaboration that didn't go well. We overcommitted. Let's just call it that, right? And I mean, I think you'll recall that I said, we just need to vet and just make sure that it makes sense, right? And this one probably we rushed into it, so we learned, right? I mean, that's what life's all about, is kind of learning, right? It didn't kill us, so it only makes us stronger.
It wasn't nothing where it was the end of the world. It was just something where we got a ginormous cosign. It was like, hey, do this. This is reputable. Someone internally told us to do that. And then, we kind of went with it. But before going into it, there was a red flag of, well, how are they going to promote it? Because they don't have a website so everything was kind of a red flag right at the start. And when we put it out, I think he made like one post about it. So I was like,
yeah. And
okay.
we
delivered everything on our end. We got the production done.
Yeah. I mean,
we
like
sold
I said,
our
we didn't do
units.
our due diligence. I mean, that was probably the biggest mistake. We just didn't look into it, and we could have seen that. There probably wasn't as much meat on the bone as we thought. So it's water under the bridge. But I mean, I'm still a believer in it.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if we get the right opportunity, I think we have something in the works with some sort of NFT collaboration coming in the future. But we want to make sure we refine everything before doing it. We don't want to say, oh, we're gonna promise the world and then give nothing. So
yeah.
Next, going forward, it's a learning experience. Exactly what Joe said.
Collaborations are definitely all the rage. So, actually, you could sit there and say that the Adidas thing with Decentraland is a collaboration, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. So, I mean,
and they even have it on the app.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're kind of seeing that all over the place.
Yeah.
So, that's probably the rage and something we have to look at.
So, as I mentioned, I was talking about earlier, and you were just on a work trip, so maybe you could kind of have some contribution here with this contribution. Sorry, I'm mixing up my words today. Both of us are. I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay, Brandon.
So, I gave a presentation out. What was that? Tuesday, and I gave out presentations all the time, like in college, throughout college, whatever. And I never really got nervous. Never really was someone to get nervous. But for some reason, there was something this day that felt off. I don't know if it's because I only drank coffee, nothing to eat. I went there, and it was me and my group mates, me and 2 other people. The teacher was sitting there, and then it was 3 other people. That's all it was. 4 people in the audience and 3 people in the front. So we're basically even,
Yeah.
And I started shaking and my heart's beating. I could hear I never experienced this in my life where I could hear my heartbeat in my chest. Like I heard it with my ears. It was the craziest thing. And I think this all stemmed from maybe my, the lack of the appetite that day.
Yeah.
But it was wild because I gave presentations in front of lecture halls of 200 people, for projects, whatever. And this intimate setting with 3 people, I don't know has that ever happened to you? Something similar to that where you've kind of were choking up front of people giving a presentation or anything of that nature?
No,
not necessarily choked, but
I can only think of one time that I was ever really nervous about giving a presentation. I could talk about it different than what you experienced, but
okay.
Yeah, no, I can't say I've ever had the heart beating out. I mean, everybody gets kind of stage fright to some extent, but
yeah, it was just weird because how small the crowd was. Though.
Yeah, I mean, you said you didn't eat anything and you had coffee, so
that's probably just a deadly combo.
Yeah,
but
plus the 6 Red Bulls that you drank, you didn't tell us about.
Yeah. No, but you, I don't know, you were on not vacation.
No, so I mean, just to close that out. So the only time that I can recall, I mean, obviously I've been doing it a very long time, so I do presentations and trainings and stuff in front of people all the time, and I have absolutely no stage fright and no, lack of or have no fear when it comes to getting in front of people. The only time I've ever gotten nervous doing a presentation and was I was asked to do basically it was a technical presentation for MIT. Massachusetts Institute of Technology, right? So
incredible name.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where I was like, "What the hell am I going to tell these folks that they don't already know 1,000 times more than I do?" Right? So that was literally the only time that I ever, I was working myself up, and even before I walked in the room, I was kind of already on edge, and that's about the only time. And it turns out it was actually a fine presentation, and I held my own. But it was that was the only time I can really recall, sort of getting into that situation. So I don't know. It could have been just a chemical caffeine kind of thing.
I think that's what it was, man. Because I was really up there, and I was nervous about my grade. I was like, dude.
So was it content that you were comfortable with?
See, and that's what I'm thinking it was. It was something where I knew the content, but not to comfortable enough to where I could go up there and kind of BS it. You know what I mean?
So that's the other thing. I mean, anytime I'm asked to do what I'll call either new content or content that I'm just not comfortable with, you'll be on edge. And it could have been exasperated. But I mean, the whole thing to being comfortable in a speaking environment in front of people is that you are comfortable with the content you're speaking. Because if you are trying to fake it,
they're going to sniff it out right
will
away.
come out. Right.
Yeah,
So you
absolutely.
can never really get away with that. To the point where a lot of people will actually, I guess, practice in the dark sort of thing, just to get comfortable with the content. I can't say I've ever done that, but I'll spend some time just, reviewing and just kind of, researching the content so that I know I'm kind of comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Because that will absolutely cause problems.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they say in our selling class right now. It's like, be confident in what you're selling. You don't want to go up there and try to sell solar panels and you need to be like the person that doesn't know anything about solar panels.
Oh, this goes into a whole nother thing with me. I am of the mind that you cannot teach somebody to sell. You can either sell or you can't. It's kind of...
What do you... So elaborate. What do you mean you just can't
I don't think I don't
like charisma. Are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, okay, sure. I mean, I think that's a huge part of selling.
Yeah.
Obviously, product knowledge is important too, right? But that you can probably learn. But if you're not comfortable trying to sell somebody, it's not something you can be taught. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that would argue with me, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who have been taught to sell. For me, if you can sell, you don't, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it comes with
I
repetition.
honestly believe I could sell anything. You just give me a day or two to kind of learn what it is. But you can drop me into a car dealership. You can drop me into a clothing store. You can drop me into a bowling alley, and I could probably sell you the balls and the pins, right? If you gave me enough time, right? I think you could sell it. I think I could sell anything without having to be taught it. But
okay,
I don't know.
Two things. So the first thing, with repetition, do you think you could develop a better sales pitch? Do you think you could develop having that sales attitude, or you just think that if you have it, you have it?
So I think that a lot of the skill that I have in selling is listening early on. I get the most experience and the most, I think, ability to kind of sell listening to customers and how they're using the product, and listening to other people pitch it who have some experience around it. I mean, I think when you kind of get into the real world, right, and you go through all these sales trainings. I mean, I think the number one thing they'll tell you is you have to listen versus talk, right?
Yeah.
The best skill you can learn as a salesperson is the ability to listen to the person you're trying to sell to.
Yeah. Right now we're learning about that, and
it's very, very true.
And they say to do it's 60-40, 60% listen, 40%
yeah,
talk.
I mean, I never really thought about it as
around.
a percentage way. I mean,
Yeah.
if they're talking, let them talk, right? If it's 80% them telling you what they need and what they want, let them go, right? The less you talk, I think, the better.
So would you say that's your number one strategy? So let's say you were at a bowling alley, right? For example, what do you think I guess that wouldn't even make sense. But what's your main point, or what's your main strength for sales? Is it just listening and kind of understanding and refining that over and over again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, basically wrapping whatever it is that you're offering, and you have to articulate what the value prop is, right? So there has to be some reason for them to give interest to whatever the product that you're trying to sell. So if you have a carbon fiber pin that lasts 10 years versus the ceramic ones that last
2 years,
and there's a cost difference, you just, but you got to listen to the conversation. And at some point they might say, these pins keep cracking or something like that. Oh, we got a thing that might be kind of an interest to you. It's a little more expensive, but blah, 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 blah. And it'll last 10 years. So your ROI is, significantly longer, blah, 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 So anyway, but I mean, I don't want to role play. I freaking hate role playing.
Oh man, that's all we did this year.
It drives me crazy. I mean, I've obviously been doing this for a long time, and we still every once in a while will
do you guys
bring an outside sales trainer to come in and do role playing, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I mean, if I'm 30 years in, at the end of the day, you do learn something, right? Everybody has different techniques, and you always pick up something, but it's always frustrating because it's like, Jesus, I mean, come on.
That's what we're doing now. We just did a role play. Like I told you, I sold the exclusive My masks to the university that I'm currently attending, and you had a present for 15 minutes in front of the whole class. So that was fine. That was a perfect example where I had food. I was perfectly fine in front of 30-something people. Perfectly fine. So
Yep.
I don't know. But yeah, so I just got my first round of interviews done for that internship that we were talking about a couple weeks back. Everything went smoothly. They said they were going to do a follow-up in about a week, and then after that, I'll move to the final round of interviews. But it's just so crazy that it's round after round after round.
Yeah. So how
for an
many people
internship.
did you end up talking to?
So far, I've talked to one, and
Oh.
then she's gonna talk to me again on Monday. Let me know if I even made it past the first round, which I'm fingers crossed I did. You know, we went to. She was a waitress at Buffalo Wild Wings, where me and Taylor go to all the time, so we had a connection there. When I was just like joking around with her with that, and then after that, I'm going to be meeting the two people who I would be reporting to at the internship. Two gentlemen. I forget their names now, but. Yeah, it's gonna be a good job. And then they were even talking to me. She was talking to me about like after that. She was pretty confident that I would get it, but she was just like, yeah. So after that, we're gonna offer you a position two positions. The first position would be just continue doing what I'm doing, but rather than the intern role, it would just be kind of a higher level of that type of work. And then the second one would be a travel position, which she was like kind of leaning more towards. And I was
nice.
like, yeah, but it's like, it's not the travel that you're doing. Like you kind of live here and then travel out. It's like you move there and then you're kind of in like,
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, kind of tough. And then she was just like, you know, obviously you'll be compensated very well for it for a first year, you know, out of school. And I was like, yeah, I just got to think about it just because like, it's kind of a big commitment, a couple months.
Yeah.
I'm living at the house, and the next month I'm living, in Texas or something.
So, I mean, the company I work for, that's how they do sales and marketing rotationals. They basically will bring you in and they'll put you into a division for 6 months of marketing and 6 months of sales.
Yeah.
And they do move you around, right? So that
Yeah.
first 6 months is California and the next 6 months is in Minneapolis or something like that. So that's kind of the nature of the game. So I'm not surprised that they hit you up on that.
Yeah, they hit me up with that, and they said, well, it's kind of what you said, but the first 6 months would be home, kind of learning everything, and then then after that, it's permanent residence there. And then if you would choose to move back, you can, but it's definitely something to think about. And it's just kind of like all kind of happening quick. College is coming to an end. So
well, I mean, don't give it some thought. I mean, it's nice to actually get away from your nest, so to say.
Well, I'm gonna be there for a while if I do get this position. It's remote, so I'll be at the crib all the time.
Very cool.
Yeah. So shifting gears to the what's it called? Kind of what we talked about, the Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley thing. I wanted to play a little game. So I have 4 names here. I wanted to play called, it's like over or under, all right? And I'm going to tell you the person's name, and I'm going to give you their net worth, and you have to guess over or under the amount that I say. Sound good?
Sure.
Okay. So first person, we'll start easy because we talked about him this early today. Jake Paul, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Jake Paul, his net worth at $15 million, over or under?
Oh, it's over.
What do you think it is?
God, that dude's, well, he was like the pioneer. So, I mean, he's, I don't know, but I'm sure it's
over.
like 50 or 60 or $1 million easily.
Yeah, so on Google it says $30 million. It says he was an actor, boxer, and comedian, but I don't know about the comedian part. Didn't see that. But he's a good guy. I mean, he's doing his thing for sure. So then now we're going to be moving to his opponent, Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley was a mixed martial art champion and former amateur wrestler, and has a net worth of $6 million.
Under.
Really? What do you think?
I mean, MMA guys, unless you're like, there's only like 3 guys in the entire thing that make money, right? So I don't know, but I mean,
$4 million. Do you think?
And he probably made all of that in his first fight with. I mean, I bet you all of his money came from that first fight.
Yeah, $2 million. It said for reportedly $2 million. Next person, you probably would know this one more than I would. So everyone knows Steve Harvey. He has a media empire that also includes radio, television, clothing, books, and more. And his net worth is
Steve Harvey. So wait, he's not the guy who's on
Steve Harvey. Family Feud.
Okay, that is Steve Harvey.
With the mustache.
Okay, yeah,
the suits.
He's
$100 million.
Is he a comedian or is he not a comedian? I mean, on Family Feud, he acts like a comedian.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what.
But wasn't he like a talk show host back in the upper days?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. He might have.
So look, I know who he is. You
don't know?
$100 million?
Yeah.
It's got to be under. I don't. What the hell's he done? I mean,
net worth $200 million.
Well, it's like that. Who's that guy? Who's that guy who's worth like $1 billion? Lives in Atlanta and he's into like movies and.
Is it? It's not Nick Cannon, is it?
No. He's an actor, right? I mean, I think everybody knows him as an actor, but he's worth like $1 gazillion because he does all the behind the scenes director. He's like a director or producer. Oh God. Anyway, you got any more? Or
yeah, I got one more. So this is someone from my side, my neck of the woods, the gaming scene. His name is Nadeshot. He was a former Call of Duty pro. Now he has a organization known as 100 Thieves. A little bit about 100 Thieves. They are a Los Angeles-based esports company that raised $6 million from investors their first round, and their company is valued at $460 million. That's the company that he has.
So, whoa. So he's got a... What the hell's worth $400 million? So what do they do? I mean,
their company does. So they have a Call of Duty team. They have, I believe, a League of Legends team.
Oh, so they have their so they're
in this space.
They are a
like
bunch
of.
So it's almost like he owns a bunch of esports
organizations,
teams.
Right? And
okay, right.
His net worth for just him is $9 million.
Well, I mean, if the company's worth $400 million, then sure, he's got to be worth more than that, right?
Yeah, but okay, it only says here that he's only worth $10 million. But I mean, only worth $10 million, but $10 million is a lot of money. But that's what it says. So you think he's worth probably more than 10?
I mean, I would think. I don't know what percentage of the company he owns, but I mean, if he sold out, to VC and the company's worth $400 million, he's got to be worth more. I'm sure he owns more than 10% of the company.
Yeah, probably so. And that says it's updated of 2021. I'm not too sure what that is or when that was updated, but that's what it was. And
man, there's some crazy money in things that like I have to get my head around some of this stuff. I mean, I know that the esports is getting big and Christ, it's all over, some of the secondary TV channels and stuff like that. We talked about G4 and some stuff. I know they broadcast that crap all the time, but wow, there must be a lot of marketing and promotional spend that I guess happens in that world.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't think that the company was worth $460 million until I looked that up. I know they do a lot of these
that's crazy
rounds of advertise. Like, what do they call that? Like, I don't know. Like, I think they're on stage like C or B or D or whatever. I don't know what it is, but they do these things every so often. They always make like a hell of money. So yeah,
they just keep capitalizing. So I mean, basically. You have a company like, say, it's Exclusive Minds, right? And you basically sell off a percentage of the shares to venture capitals, and their goal is to use that money to fund growing the company bigger and bigger. And the venture capitalists are hoping that you do go bigger and bigger, and then it goes public, and then their $6 million seed investment, it becomes worth, $600 million overnight. So.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, did you understand? So I sent you a thing about Elon Musk selling his shares of Tesla. Do you understand that? I kind of understood it, but I wasn't 100%.
I didn't look at it, but I mean, what transpired there is he has stock options, right? So basically what happens is when they come due, he basically has to buy the shares. So, I mean, I know what Tesla's like $1,000 a share. So he had options to buy a share for whatever it was, like maybe $100, right? Okay. So when he exercises that, right, there's a $900 gain on each share, and for him it's billions of dollars. So I think he was basically just taking some of the shares and selling them to pay the taxes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw it.
So that's why, I mean, I think he sold like $1 billion or something like that.
Yeah, everyone was like, I've never seen someone finesse the stock market this hard. And I was like, I don't even really know what they were talking about.
So he's basically selling the shares to basically just cover the tax burden. That's normal practice. I mean, he obviously has high visibility, so you're actually hearing about it. I mean, that happens with CEOs all the time because they all have stock options packages, and when those things hit, there's a big tax burden, and that's usually what happens.
Yeah.
They'll sell X number of shares to pay the tax burden, and then the rest of it goes in his pocket.
And now that we're on the topic of stocks, real quick, I just got news this morning that my investment Quant, they're getting backed by some federal bank. I think it got announced earlier today or yesterday. So hopefully,
wait, I'm confused. Isn't Quant your cryptocurrency you bought?
Yeah, but the company that is Quant is it's like a service for hospitals to send information from like one hospital to another hospital. That's what the whole
okay.
The service is anyway. But that company just got backed by some federal bank, I think, and it should go up here soon. So I should get my money back if I'm not mistaken.
So I mean, how does their real world business
translate to the coin?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it has to do with something.
Think you should know that?
I think I should know that, but I think it's something where rather than going like public, I guess, on the stock market, they just went through coins or something. I genuinely don't know how. I would have to look more into it, but I think that's what it is. Like, I think it's just something that's like trying to be a whole different way of like something that's on the stock market versus something that's going through Coinbase now or crypto. I'm not too sure. I honestly should look at that and should probably get an answer for the next episode.
This is a lesson right here.
Yeah.
You know,
don't
throw money unless you know what the hell you're doing. Right?
Well, I know what the company is. I just don't know what the heck, like, yeah, I guess.
And that's one of the nice things about Coinbase, right? Because that's what I've been using. I mean, Coinbase actually has
a news feed.
They have white papers. Like there's a thing where next to each of the trading symbols, there's a button for white paper. And you click on that, and it's basically it's like a stock prospectus, right? Every stock, every company has a stock prospectus that basically just gives you some background information on what the company does and what the revenues have been in the past, and it's very similar. So there's a white paper for each and every cryptocurrency that basically whoever the person is that released it, there's and sometimes it's just technical error. Stay tuned. Yeah, so it's actually going back to 0. So anyway, there's going to be a really weird clipping here because we lost power right in the middle of the conversation. So I'll end up splicing this all together. We'll sort of leave the kind of weirdness in. But anyway, so I was saying white paper. So yeah, there's a prospectus for all the cryptocurrencies, which is really good. So like in the case of this situation that you're not really sure how the two mix,
bridge together, right?
This white paper would probably give you all the detail on what's kind of backing it or what their goal is or how they release the coins and stuff like that. So it's got some really good information. That's it's a nice thing to have.
Yeah, I would definitely need to look more into like the back end stuff because that is actually a really good question. Like how does that have any direct correlation with the coin itself? I don't know, but I definitely will do some more research and figure that out. I've been I don't know, like the podcast stuff, learning something new and learning all these different type of stuff, like learning different information about like Coinbase and they're maybe using a different type of platform because I hear some people are like, oh, Coinbase is elementary and then you have to get into something bigger. But, it's all just a learning process. And I've been really enjoying both of these things just because I feel like we kind of took both of them on around the same time. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
How have you been liking the podcast stuff? I know you got some feedback from, what's his name again? The karate guy.
Shout out to Sean McCormick.
I didn't mean to call you karate guy, but
Yeah. No. I guess he listened and said it was cool, and said if we ever talk karate to bring him on, which definitely I think we absolutely will do.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah, because I know we talked. You've got a friend who's kind of doing something with a BMW shop. And I just thought, it's a conversation. The same thing with Sean. I think it would be cool to get some people on who are jumping into business, doing something that they just absolutely love, right? Because I think there's a tremendous value on that. A lot of us end up taking jobs just because we got to get a job. And there are a bunch of us that I think, find our way into what is passion. And if you have that opportunity, jump at it, right? It might not pay you the most, but I guarantee you'll find it far more rewarding than anything money can bring you, right? I don't know, who was it that was asking, was it you that said, is happiness, can money buy happiness? And so now that I'm kind of going through this conversation, right, it's Money, I'm telling you, if you can find, doing something that
you enjoy doing,
love, outside of just kind of work, you'll always be happy. So anyway,
we'll have to bring both of them on to talk about that. I don't want to spoil it on this episode, but there definitely is an interesting conversation. And on my end of things, a lot of people always, I've been getting great feedback about the podcast. It's just, when you're commuting somewhere, rather than listening to music where you don't necessarily want to listen to music, just throw on a podcast and listen to us for an hour or 40 or whatever, however long the podcast goes for.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is all grassroots, right? So we don't have a big audience, but you got to start somewhere. So, for those that are listening, if you can share, and again, that's just the tie back to the social media conversation from earlier, but we're typically posting the links for the podcast on both Facebook and Instagram. So you'd really, really, really help the cause by helping us spread the word, right? Everybody you share it with helps. And hopefully the content's been interesting enough to kind of keep people around. The numbers have been pretty good. I mean, we actually do get analytics. So
going up every time?
So it was kind of interesting. The first episode, I think, has still been the most listened to, which is really kind of weird.
People probably, no, it's not probably that weird because they want to hear us.
So the first one was kind of high, and then the second and third dipped a little bit, and then I think the last couple ones have been booming. So,
good.
Yeah, I mean, we're moving in the right direction. I mean, obviously, the retention's there. Oh, and the amount of time that people listen has increased. I think when we originally did
it was Mario, that son of...
it was like 34% of the podcast got listened to, and now I think it was actually over 50%. So
damn, okay, look at us making moves out here. Yeah. Oh, we forgot to talk about, I guess while we're on the wind down right now, we forgot to talk about your business trip. Anything interesting happened? You went on a 4-day trip?
I flew out to Indianapolis for some, meetings and stuff like that. It was actually fairly low key. I'm trying to think. Uneventful. I did get to eat at a world famous steak place, St. Elmo's.
No, I never heard of it. Is it good?
In Indianapolis. So if you are in Indianapolis, check out St. Elmo's. They have an amazing shrimp cocktail with a horseradish sauce or a cocktail sauce that apparently they make their horseradish fresh every day.
Oh, see, that's what's the best, just doing it yourself.
And it's really good. So shout out to St. Elmo's. I mean, in addition to coffee, steaks, and good steak restaurants are a thing I love. So
we have to go to Fogo.
Yeah, that's mass consumption. That's
Oh man, I don't care what it is.
Kind of eat until you throw up.
I love that.
I don't know. That's not really.
I love a place where you could get the full dollar amount out of the meal.
You don't get cheated, I guess.
Yes, you definitely don't. And then you'll go to I don't know, what's that place?
But that's got to shut your body down for 3 days. I've never been there, and but obviously I know what it is. But
yeah.
Man, all I can think of is just chowing down hard, and for the next 3 days, just feeling like utter garbage.
So me and Taylor have this thing. We go there probably 4 times a year, every quarter of the year we go there. It seems like
it's your quarterly visit.
Yeah, quarterly meal. So we fast all day for there because you go there and you want to make sure you're tasting everything because they just come around with, it's a Brazilian style steakhouse. So they're going to be coming around with these giant skewers of meat on it, and they just cut it off right into your plate. It's fantastic. And they also have a salad bar and all that. But you just have to get a little taste of everything. You don't want to just short yourself out and just get one item. So whenever we go there, we end up spending probably $250 per meal, which is absolutely insane. And then the tip, oh my God, I don't even want to think about it. It's probably due for another one here soon, but
Oh, you have so much to learn.
I'm not trying to
This
spend
is the same
$300.
guy who ordered
Sparkling water.
I took him to a steak place in New York, and he ordered. He ordered. He orders sparkling water. The guy says, "Do you want sparkling water or tap?" Right? And
Yeah.
You said, "I'll take sparkling water," and of course they bring out the entire bottle, and he had no idea that he was ordering an entire bottle. Of
To be fair, this was a couple years ago. I'm new to the scene, barely breathing oxygen at the time, and Joe's taking me to this fancy spot in New York, and I was like, all right, well, I don't want tap water when they presented it like that, but tap water is not that bad, come to find out. Anyway, they've come out with this whole bottle, and I was like, Joe's like, you're paying for that. I'm like, what? I'm not trying to pay for this $10 bottle of water.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. But that was a good spot too. That was like right in what was that? Close to Center City.
I can't remember the name of it. It's in the it's in Columbus Circle, the Time Warner building.
Yeah.
I forget. It's upstairs with all the expensive restaurants, but yeah, that was fun. I mean, it was good.
Yeah, I know. I want to go to I don't know. They say it's overhyped, but I want to go to like one of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Just like going there, seeing what's going on, seeing the red team
It
versus
just
the
doesn't
blue
seem
team.
like it would be all that great unless he comes out and yells at you about something, right? Screams in
dude.
your face.
What are you, an idiot?
Eat the food. Nobody orders it medium well. Get out of my restaurant. It has to be medium rare.
Oh, I wanted to give a quick shout out. If
We're starting to babble now, you know that.
we are starting to babble, we're gonna cut it here.
Yeah.
All right, so we just wanted to say thank you to Marcus DeLuca for the intro song. Hopefully we can get that.
Yeah. So Marcus was kind enough to share with us a little rap, and I'm going to have that as the intro. So you've probably already heard at least a little bit of it at this point, and then I'll play the entire thing at the end. So stay tuned for that. And yes, absolutely, shout out to Marcus. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, he dropped a bag on us over the weekend too, or I guess over the past couple of days. So he's really been supportful. So we have to show support where we get support.
Yep.
That was awesome. But I think this has been it for episode 7. This was another great episode, getting better and better every time. We haven't did this since last Thursday, right?
Yeah, we're really we're going to do this on weekends, and now it's totally off.
Yeah,
But
now I feel
we're
like
still on. I think we're still doing it weekly. It's just that we've
Different
been
days.
dropping kind of midweek instead of the weekends.
I mean, I kind of like that though.
At the
'cause
end of the day, I mean, it's
same consumption.
it doesn't matter.
But with what Joe said earlier, we're probably going to be, having more free time on our hands, getting closer to the holidays. So maybe we'll try to, stick with a schedule or try to, get more episodes in or whatever. We'll figure something out. But be looking out for the next week episode and then the, I guess, bonus episode with Mikey, or I guess
We'll try and do the whole boxing thing, and that's Saturday the 18th, so that's in the evening is when the event is. So if we can figure out how to do kind of a YouTube live, you might be able to catch it then. If not, we'll
keep
have
you guys
it shortly
posted
thereafter, and we'll see how that goes. I mean, it's just basically a bunch of us just kind of rapping as the event's occurring, so we'll get some live feedback, and
hopefully we could get some people here, get a little bit of booze, get the true and authentic self version of themselves, hopefully not get canceled that night.
Yeah, we don't need
Imagine we get John and Wade in here and get them to go off the rails.
It's not them I'm worried about. It's your other friend, though. Is it Kevin?
Kevin.
Yeah, he's kind of
loose cannon.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, cool. Well, then I guess we'll just close it out here. I think we're actually a little under an hour this time, so that's good. Hopefully, some good information, and I'm gonna pick up MANA tonight sometime.
All right, we'll do the update next week.
So go MANA.
Yeah,
And
sweet.
go. What the hell did you buy? EOS.
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 Yep, it was at
So
$3.
those are our crypto picks that we're going to put a couple bucks in and see where the hell that goes. My Bitcoin, I think my son actually hung on to it. Big mistake.
It's at like 40 something.
It's down like 20 something percent.
Jesus God.
I'm like, welcome to the real world of investing.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, that's the thing. It could go up like in 3 days. It could be right back up to where it was.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's been the Exclusive Minds podcast. Check us at exmnds.com. It's been Rook and Joe.
Yeah, buy some clothes, share us on social media, like us, follow us, do all of those things on the podcast, and we will catch you next week.
Goodbye.
Thanks all.
Yeah. Let me drop exclusive game from my exclusive mind. You be out here chasing fame, I stay steady on my grind. Zero diamonds, zero chains, from my brain is where I shine. Hit you with them good lyrics, I ain't writing and I'm dying. And right now I'm alive, so check it. I reckon I shouldn't cuss on this record. I don't cuss on them often because I'm applying pressure. Grab that fire grind. Zero diamonds, zero chains, from my brain is where I shine. Hit you with them good lyrics, I ain't writing and I'm dying. And right now I'm alive, so check it. I reckon I shouldn't cuss on this record. I don't cuss on them often because I'm applying pressure. Grab that fire from my dresser. EXM, who does it better? No, I won't let up. Gas pedal fully pressed, I do the dash to the checks. If it ain't assets, I'm never stressed. I keep it calm and collect. Most of y'all stuck in some debt, and you got bad credit. I learned my lesson, I was young and foolish, now I'm better. I kept my head up through the stormiest weather. Wipe my eyes and focused on where I'm headed. We call that constant progression. If we in Vegas and the option is betting on me, you know we cashing out to the teller. Now let me switch my endeavor, change up my whole approach. Let's have a toast to those who do the most. Achieving goals on the road to their dreams, on the path to the cream, counting stacks with their team, living lavishly, but still actively aware that they can be a casualty, so they don't lack humility and they don't dabble with the greed. Yes, they focused on the plan ahead. They know impact will lead to bread, and the bread equals success and less threats. Got some things to accomplish. When someone hits my line, it's not about some nonsense. We making moves, always grinding, we popping. You know we not gonna stop, and never no option but time, and the perfect time is right now. Not caught up in tomorrow. I'm all about making a conscious decision while I'm living. Make a choice, then I'm committed to that vision. I pivot if necessary. It's scary when you get caught in a position that isn't hitting you down bad because your persistence in the wrong direction. Just learn your lesson, you gotta check it. Audit you and keep on getting better. That's the motive, that's the method. And I'm headed further than I ever thought I could make it. I wouldn't stop unless my pulse flat lines like the doctor lost his patience.